Hey guys, just wanted to make a quick video and update to what I was talking about yesterday in my videos regarding the 40 million Russians that are apparently going into bunkers and training for some sort of defense drill, civil defense drill. This is at RT News now in English, so it's actually been making its ways even through the mainstream media now. The Mirror's picked it up, anti-media, a whole bunch of different, I wouldn't say mainstream, but more of the alternative news stations are now reporting on this. But what I found here from RT is that this is actually an annual exercise that they've been doing for a few years now, so it's nothing new. Let me just read this to you real quick, and then I'll touch upon a few points. It says 40 million Russians involved in annual 4-day defense drills. This week, Russian authorities are conducting massive civil defense training involving 40 million people nationwide. The drill comes amid a spike in tensions between Russia and the U.S. after the collapse of two nations' cooperation in Syria. The 4-day exercise launched on Tuesday includes 200,000 rescue professionals. Almost 50,000 vehicles are part of the drill. Quote, our priority during the drill is to train evacuation of the civilian population from potentially risky areas, Emergencies Minister Vladimir Puchkov, who oversees all defense in Russia, told Interfax. The drill is meant to test coordination between federal, regional, and local authorities, feasibility of contingency plans for emergencies, the state of civil defense infrastructure like shelters and emergency supply stockpiles, and other aspects of the system. Emergency services are expected to, quote, prepare suggestions on how to improve our potential, the minister said. Now it says the exercises such as these are held annually in Russia since 2012. It is timed to October 4th, which is Civil Defense Day in Russia. This year's exercise is not exceptional in terms of scale. For example, the drill of 2013 involved over 60 million people, as you can see right there. So back in 2013, they had 20 more million people than they're doing right now. They're saying it's 40 million right now. So as you can see, I tried to do a little bit of research and come up with, 2013 through 2015 annual defense drill. Couldn't really find anything, but that's not to say that these things haven't been taking place for the past 3 or 4 years. So it could just be absolute coincidence, but all these news sites are basically combining nuclear drill with this civil defense drill, saying that they're preparing for nuclear war, which is completely believable. And we have to take that into consideration, but we also have to take in consideration that this could just be coincidence because they have been doing these drills annually, as it says right here. But we do know that the tensions between the U.S. and Russia over Syria have reached an all-time high, and the U.S. has now cut off all bilateral talks with Russia, which could easily lead to war. I'm going to show you something here in a second that is, to me, even more disturbing. But just to touch on this a little bit more, this out of Emercom. This is out of Global Research CA. So Moscow prepared for a possible nuclear attack, statement of Russian Emergency Situations Ministry, Emercom. Representatives for Emercom said that all bomb shelters and underground shelters in Moscow meant for the evacuation of people in case of a nuclear attack or other emergencies. Quote, we're prepared and will be able to accommodate the entire population of Moscow. As a result of the introduction of new approaches to civil defense, an inventory of underground facilities of the city was conducted. The Moscow underground facilities will be able to protect 100% of the population of the city, Deputy Head of Emercom of Russia in Moscow, Andrei Mishchenko, said. He also added that the department takes urgent measures to enhance civil defense. The department updates the legal framework and modernizes control and alarm systems. So this goes on to talk about a little bit more here, how they do it. And they're talking about the bunkers and saying, that the nuclear war tensions between Russia and the U.S. are indeed higher than they have ever been before. This is out of Global Research CA, quoting Pravda.ru, which is a Russian website. Some people say conspiracy site, some people don't. But in any case, I just wanted to show you guys both of these articles from RT and then from Pravda because they, apparently Emercom is sort of, talking about how these drills are sort of in preparation for a nuclear attack, sort of indirectly speaking of that. So in any case, we will keep our eye on that. Obviously, regardless of the fact if it's annual or not, it's a huge exercise, and we have to ask ourselves, why are they doing it in the first place? Are they preparing for nuclear war, as they say? Are they preparing for some sort of, earth-changing events such as, good old Planet X or, anything like that. So it could be a number of different things because they are training for emergencies, civil defense emergencies, not geared specifically towards nuclear threats, but that they do throw that in the mix as well as for their preparation. So I'm going to move on real quick. This article just came out of the Washington Post today. This is something we need to keep our eyes on even more. It says Obama administration considering strikes against Assad again. Goes on to talk about how the U.S. military strikes against the Assad regime will be back on the table on Wednesday at the White House, with top national security officials in the Obama administration are set to discuss options for the way forward in Syria. Inside the national security agencies, meetings have been going on for weeks to consider new options to recommend to the president to address the ongoing crisis in Aleppo, where Syrian and Russian aircraft continue to perpetuate the deadliest bombing campaign the city has ever seen since the 5-year-old war began. A meeting of the Principals Committee, which includes cabinet-level officials, is scheduled for Wednesday. A meeting of the National Security Council, which could include the president, could come as early as the weekend. Last Wednesday, at a Deputies Committee meeting at the White House, officials from the State Department and CIA and Joint Chiefs of Staff discussed limited military strikes against the regime as a means of forcing Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad to pay a cost for his violations of the ceasefire, disrupt his ability to continue committing war crimes against civilians in Aleppo, and raise the pressure on the regime to come back to the negotiating table in a serious way. So, this is just more hypocrisy coming out of Washington. They're talking about how the dictator Bashar al-Assad has to pay a cost for his violations of the ceasefire, when in fact it was the U.S. coalition jets who actually violated the ceasefire by killing over 80 Syrian troops. Yet they're coming back and blaming Russia for the collapse of the ceasefire. It's complete horseshit, as we all know. They're talking about committing war crimes in Aleppo. Washington's been doing the exact same thing for the past few years in Syria. It is just a tit-for-tat going on between Russia and the U.S. and Syria right now. And like I said before, the propaganda has reached all-time highs, and now they are considering doing direct airstrikes against President Bashar al-Assad's forces, attacking the runways, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And not only that, but we've got something coming out of the U.S. as they're talking about arming al-Qaeda rebels with portable anti-aircraft missiles, manpads, to be used against the Russian Air Force, which obviously is not good as well. We've also got Russia deploying their S-300 anti-ballistic missile systems in Syria for the first time amid rising tensions between Washington and Moscow. It is designed to defeat short and medium-range ballistic missile, aeroballistic and cruise missiles, fixed-wing aircraft, as well as loitering ECM platforms and precision-guided munitions. So Russia has upped their game. They put these, S-300 missiles on the border or in Syria now, and U.S. is talking about arming these al-Qaeda rebels with manpads. So obviously there's the talks have ceased, but Russia and the U.S. are still injecting their military hardware as well as ground troops in the area. So we have to keep our eye on this, guys, very carefully. This article right here, I'm going to leave a link for. This is very disturbing news. They, like I said before, they've been backed into a corner, and from day one, they've been talking about ousting Bashar al-Assad. The proxy armies of ISIS have failed in Syria, so now it looks like they want to directly intervene with their own military to directly attack Assad himself. That's all I got, guys. I'll see you in my next video. Take care and have a good one.